Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Manisha Bhise from Mumbai, and I would love to thank you, Eric, for this wonderful opportunity. This is my first time, to tell and narrate a story in front of adult audience and in Chennai Storytelling Festival. I am a bit nervous also. I don't know if you can see that, but hope you like and enjoy my story.
Well, wait a moment. Let's all take a deep breath, everybody.
Yeah, that will help me.
Okay,
Thank you.
good. Yes.
Okay, so today being Valentine's Day, and I being a nature lover, I have chosen this story about love between a mountain and a bird. It's a very well-known story, and maybe most of you all already have know it. But still, I would love to give it a try and hope you enjoy it. The story is The Mountain That Loved a Bird, written by Ellis McLaren. Once there was a mountain. It stood tall, bare, and rocky, all alone in a desert land. There was nothing around it. Neither a plant grew on it, nor any animal, bird, or insect ever visited it. The sun warmed the mountain during the day, while the wind and the moonlight chilled the mountain during the night. The only touch the mountain ever knew was that of the snow and the rain. But then, one day, suddenly, a, a little, a beautiful bird appeared out of nowhere. The mountain was in awe. It had never seen anything beautiful like this little bird. It stared at the bird and it said, "Hello, who are you? Where did you come from?" "Joy, I am Joy," said the bird, "and I have come from a distant land where everyone is green and fresh. Every spring, I fly high up in the sky and fly to long distance to rest, find a suitable place to build my nest and lay my eggs. But my journey is too arduous and long, so I rest here and there, and that's why I landed here." The mountain again looked at the bird and said, "Can you stay here? Will you be my friend?" Joy smiled again and said, "Oh, I would definitely love to be your friend. But you see, I can't live here. There's nothing for me to eat. There's not even a stream of water for me to drink or survive. You see, I am a living being, a bird. I need food and water to live. I cannot live here. The mountain was sad, but he said, uh, it's okay if you have to leave, but will you promise me to come back next time to meet me?" And Joy, as the name was, smiled and said, "Sure, I'll be here next spring again. But my friend, let me tell you a thing. I am a bird, and we birds don't live for long. For as long as I live, I'll definitely visit you. But my visits will be short. But I can do one thing. I will tell about you to my children. And every year, every spring, one of my child will definitely visit you. And I'll name one of my child Joy. So we'll definitely meet every spring." Saying this, Joy circled the mountain. It sang a song and it spoke with the mountain and flew away. As the mountain saw Joy flying away, its heart sank. It was sad, but it was also a little positive that next year it will again see Joy. And then next spring, as she had promised, Joy came back. She sat on the mountain, she circled the mountain, and she sang a song. Life is wonderful, life is beautiful, and I promise to meet you next year. Life is wonderful, life is beautiful, and I promise to meet you next year. And she again flew away. This happened for 99 springs. And every time the mountain saw Joy flying away in the sky, it became sadder and sadder. The 100th spring, when Joy was about to fly, the mountain's heart broke and it started to weep. Thousands of water rushed through his eyes, and the mountain wept from the bottom of his heart. It wept and it wept and it wept. The following spring, Joy came back to the mountain, and this time it was not alone. Joy had brought a tiny seed in its beak, and as usual, it sat on the mountain, it circled the mountain, and it pushed the seed into the deepest cracks in the mountain. But this time, the mountain did not acknowledge the presence of Joy. It remained hard and silent, weeping all year through. But next spring, Joy came back again with another seed, and it pushed the seed again in one of its cracks. And what the mountain failed to notice was that with the gushing water and the stream, and with the ample of sunlight around, the seed had sprouted into a tiny plant. Roots had grown deeper and deeper inside the heart of the mountain. And with every passing year, the seed had grown into a beautiful plant. And with the roots growing deeper and deeper inside the mountain, the hard rock of the mountain had turned into soft soil. And as promised, joy returned every spring. And as years passed on, it brought a seed in its beak, and it planted everywhere, in every tiny crack that it found in the mountain. And with each passing year, the entire area around the mountain had transformed. There was grass everywhere because of the continuous weeping of the mountain. There was a little stream flowing around. The first plant that grew along the mountain had now grown into a tall tree, and with the flowering and the flowers turning into fruits, the trees had attracted butterflies and bees and many other animals. And the mountain suddenly opened his eyes to find out a completely different him. And it was happy. And that spring, joy came again. But this time, joy did not have a seed in its beak. Instead, joy carried a twig in its beak. It flew over the mountain. It circled it. It placed the twig onto the tallest tree, the tree that had grown from the first seed that Joy had planted in its crack. And there it built its nest. And this time Joy sang, "Life is wonderful. Life is beautiful. And look, my friend, I'm here to live forever with you." Thank you. Yeah, that was the story. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody, any thoughts?
From this moment, just give it up there. Trust their bodies.
Anybody? I want to especially thank you, Judy England. Your feedback all weekend, all day, I guess. It's only been one day, has been fantastic. And Vandana also, thank you very much. Uh,
Beautiful story, Manisha. I loved it, especially the cry of the bird really resonated with me. And I think this story I've heard before, but not so wonderfully narrated the way you did. So thank you very much for sharing. And I think I also learned to whistle like the bird. Beautiful, loved it. So thank you.
Thank you, Renu. Thank you. I'm still a bit, nervous. I think I should take a deep breath again.
No, you don't look it, you don't look it, and you didn't say the story that you were nervous at all. You did a wonderful job. So you should be proud of yourself. Big round of applause to you.
well, you told it in a very comfortable way.
Okay.
a little bit self-conscious, but but fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Jasmina?
I
Uh,
thought it
Manisha, thank you very much. It was really, really a direct approach, which I admire, with a yellow sky behind you. It was like a sky of joy. It was really, really nice. I admire your rhythm, your dramatic approach. Your hands were beautiful and gentle, but I prefer when movements are maybe divided from your voice. They are they are in the first, yeah. But you're really really great, and the breaks, the pause, the break, the timeout that you make, it's so full of feelings. So I appreciate your approach very, very much. It was a story about power of transformation, and in one moment, I felt that you are like a bird. I'm sorry if I'm too direct, but I think that we are not choosing the stories; that stories are choosing us. So it was really, really nice. I can imagine you as a bird. You are so beautiful. Thank you, Manisha.
Oh,
Namaste.
thank you so much, Jasmine. That is really, I mean, I feel so good to be here, frankly. Thank you, everyone.
I
Ban-
never imagined. Can I?
Bandhana, did you want to say?
Just one word, because what has happened is, see, I wasn't able to talk to Jasmine, and Jasmine, I must really appreciate you, because yours was such a simple story and yet such a strong message that it's still reverberating with me. I mean, I wish, the moment Eric said, it just stayed, so simple yet so strong. What a message, and how. So one really needs to learn, and one is learning so much. So thank you so much. What a pleasure. And now coming back to Manisha, your singing was so brilliant. So how can you say you were nervous? So it's imagine you're singing away and so enjoyable. And thank you so much. Thank you so much, Eric.
Thank you, Vandana. Thank you, everyone.
Not just singing, you are even whistling. So there is no sign of nervousness.
Okay.
I felt from the very beginning that you were really in the story. And
Okay.
your presence in the story drew me into the story right away.
Okay.
And like someone else said, I loved your pacing and the pauses at just the right place. I thought it was a beautiful story and a beautiful telling. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Uh, what I loved about you, Manisha, is the fact that when you talked of the bird and called it joy, your face was radiating joy. So I thought that was brilliant, and the way you were whistling, it really brought the story alive. But you brought that bird alive because your face, every time, even if the mountain was sad, you showed joy as joy, very joyful face. And I just loved the way you whistled and did it and showed the bird. I thought that was a wonderful story. And but I would think that your pace was a little too slow. To that's how I felt. So to keep the pace a little faster, but I just loved the way you said it anyway. So it brought me into the story. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you for sharing that.
It was beautifully told, but as the person just said, it was a little slow and a little bit deliberate, which is a good thing. But it's also good to have a sense of abandon to some extent, not wild abandon, but a sense of easy abandon. You know, so that comes with practice, experience, and getting over being nervous and all.
Sure, sure. Thank you. I'll
But beautifully,
definitely note the points. Yeah.
but beautifully done.
It was absolutely beautifully done. And I felt like we were witnessing the ages, the mountain and then the bird arriving and the mountain crumbling and then the tree. I mean, it was just, I felt like I was brought through all of the time of the world. It was quite lovely. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire.